Welcome back to State of the Union. We are 6 months from the presidential election. My next guest decided against making a run himself, and he's backing former President Trump. Here with me now from Germany, where he's leading a trade mission and meeting with American service members, is Virginia Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin. Governor, thank you so much for joining us. You were there on your third international trade mission since becoming governor. You've made building business ties overseas a priority. You know that many in your party do not see it that way, including your party's nominee, Donald Trump. He doesn't share your views. Why do you think this is so important?
Well, first of all, Dana, thank you for having me today. And it's amazing to be here at Ramstein Air Base to visit with these extraordinary men and women who are on the front line of projecting America's capabilities around the world. It is the gateway for America's military here. And it's so important for us to come and support them and honor them. I saw great Virginians here as well today. And listen, global economic strength is national security, and it's critically important for us to have deep relationships with our trusted allies. I think we've done a great job in the Commonwealth of Virginia in bringing companies to Virginia, but also developing relationships around the world. Last year, I was in Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea, and now I'm going to be in Germany, in Denmark, and Finland. And it's an incredibly important opportunity for us to deepen these relationships. And I think it also represents the fact that our economy is not performing as it should be. I mean, the reality is we have low growth and high inflation. It should be flip-flopped. We should have low inflation and high growth. And it's part of our economic mission to build that. I do think President Trump built that when he was president. I think we're suffering under Joe Biden's leadership economically. Virginia has done incredibly well over the last couple of years as we've rebounded aggressively with more people working than ever. And I'm going to continue to work to bring jobs to Virginia, but also to make sure we have great relationships around the world.
Let me just follow up on trade, and specifically, Trump is threatening to impose a new 10% tariff on all foreign imports to the U.S. Is that something that you support?
So I believe, first of all, that we have trusted allies around the world that we must develop even deeper relationships with. And as I said, it's one of the reasons why I was in Asia last year and am in Europe this year. And those relationships must be strengthened. They must be deepened, because the reality is that China particularly is trying to dominate the world at America's expense. And we must build these trusted allies and supply chains into the most important industries like semiconductors. And that's something that we're continuing to work for in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I think President Trump strongly believes in building America's business. And that's part of bringing so many companies home to America, the pharmaceutical industry, the manufacturing industry, and, of course, the semiconductor industry. We've seen a lot of that in Virginia, and that's what we're building there, too.
So no on the 10% tariffs on all foreign imports?
Yeah, I think that the specifics of combating unfair trade practices are going to need to be levied against particular countries that are not trading fairly. But we also, as I said, need to strengthen our relationships with our most trusted allies. And that's part of, I think, not only having a successful economic strategy, but also a successful national security strategy.
Governor, I want to ask you, you are obviously in Germany, but you're no doubt keeping close tabs on what's happening here in the U.S., including in your home Commonwealth of Virginia, and that is protests on college campuses. It includes Virginia Tech in Virginia. Back in November, you met with university leaders and you said, quote, "When it comes to freedom of expression, we have to create an environment that protects the ability to challenge conventional thinking." How does that guide your approach to protests now?
Well, first, we have to begin with the fact that freedom of expression and peacefully demonstrating is at the heart of our First Amendment, and we must protect it. But that does not go to, in fact, intimidating Jewish students and preventing them from attending class and using annihilation speech to express deeply anti-Semitic views. And therefore, I have been working with our Attorney General, Jason Miyares, our university presidents, law enforcement at the state, local, and campus level to make sure that if there are protests, they are peaceful. We're not going to have encampments and tents put up. And yes, we will protect the ability to peacefully express yourself, but we're not going to have the kinds of hate speech and intimidation that we're seeing across the country in Virginia.
Governor, I really appreciate your time. It is a very, very windy day there in Germany, and thank you so much for coming out and spending some time with us. Appreciate it.
Dana, thank you for having me. And once again, God bless our troops around the world that are keeping America safe.